or investment decisions based on products that are currently commercially available.
Good morning. Welcome. Welcome to the Consumer Goods Keynote. Thank you for joining us here today. I gotta say, before I found out exactly what time this session was, that it was the night after the concert at 9 a.m. in the morning, and before President Obama, I was a little worried, but thank you. It looks like a lot of you turned up, so super excited to have you here today. And thank you all for joining us here at Dreamforce at this conference. Hopefully you've seen a lot of great sessions so far, and we hope to continue that today and talk to you specifically about consumer goods. Now, I want to continue that sentiment. If you haven't seen them yet, the 17 Sustainable Development Goals from the United Nations, this should have been something that you've seen across the conference so far in the past 2 days. And it's very interesting for me that this industry, across all the other industries that are represented here at Dreamforce, is probably one that takes so many of these sustainable development goals so seriously. Across topics like ocean plastics, reduction of food waste, or just in general, reduction of emissions overall, the consumer goods industry is one that's taking this very seriously when we think about the blueprint for the future, the blueprint for a sustainable future. So I'm very proud to be representing in an industry like that, and I'm very happy to be a part of this group. Now, across all of these goals that you've seen today, the theme will continue as you attend the other sessions we have going. So please make sure you pay attention to this as you go through the day today. Now, we have an action-packed agenda for you. We're going to cover a very brief overview of what's happening in the industry. We're then going to showcase some of the key new innovations that are coming out, some of the new secret things we've been working on that hopefully are really exciting to you as well, specific to consumer goods. We're going to, of course, hear from our customer Trailblazers, Shiseido, and Frito-Lay. And it wouldn't be a Salesforce keynote if we didn't have some awesome demos. So we're going to show you the systems as well. Now, this shouldn't be something new to anyone in the room. We all know more has changed in the consumer goods industry in the last decade. In the last 40 years, a lot has changed. And we know more is going to change in the next decade. And this is something we can think of broadly across two core areas. So, democratization of choice. What does that mean? Consumers, like you and me, today have more choice than ever. This is the reason why I was able to have an oat milk cappuccino for breakfast, probably have a plant-based burger for lunch, and a seltzer beer with my dinner. And then the flip side of this is the complexity with which consumers are able to be served now. Think about all the places you can go and purchase product, whether it's in the back seat of a rideshare, or if it's at a POS terminal that's now located within a co-working space. This point-of-sale dispersal is changing the way products can get to consumers. And we all know that the consumer journey itself has evolved. Every single one of us now undergoes a different digital journey when we're making a purchasing decision. Whether it's for a bag of potato chips, Or if it's for something like an appliance, a washing machine. We have a digital journey that we follow to do the research necessary to make the buying decision that we want to make. When was the last time someone watched a YouTube unboxing video? I watched one for my Apple Card the other day. It's ridiculous, but you get to see the product. This is what we do. And we would be remiss to think that this is always a consumer at the center. This is a person. This consumer can also be the B2B customer that you're working with through your channels. Maybe the owner of a Subway franchise. And this person expects that same experience that is consumer grade, whether it's B2C or B2B. Most consumers will tell you that they expect brands to personalize the experience to them and their needs. And most brands will tell you that they're working on doing that exact thing. So there are really two core areas that we're seeing companies leverage, two core criteria to engage with and drive agility with customers. One is exactly that. It's agility. How can we be more agile to meet the needs of these consumers? Take, for example, Quip. Not Quip, the collaboration platform that you've probably heard all about this week from Salesforce, but Quip, the oral care company that changed the way that they bring subscription toothbrushes and other oral care products to market, now thinking about offering dental services as a part of how they go to market. That fluctuation in business model to address a consumer need, to bring a service offering to change the experience that they bring to consumers. And on the flip side, when we think about relevance, companies like Alo Yoga. Alo, I hear, is what all the cool new kids on the block are using when it comes to yoga gear. And they're really driving that connected experience across B2C, across service, commerce, and marketing. And historically, a lot of these companies have leveraged Salesforce technology across B2C. When we think about connecting that consumer experience, once again, across commerce, service, and marketing, to make sure that they're creating a holistic view and driving relevance. And then on the flip side, it's this concept of an integrated route to market. It's all about driving this integrated experience for your B2B channels across planning, execution, commerce, and service. And our customers have been very creative with leveraging our platform to execute and build upon these things. But I'm here today, and I'm very excited to introduce next our VP of Product Management to showcase what it is that we're building to take this one level deeper. So with that, I'd like to welcome to the stage Kishan Chetan, who's our VP of Product Management. Kishan, come on up.
Thank you, Sunil. Yeah, I thought I needed to up my high-fiving skills. I shave virtually every day. It's a key part of my daily morning routine. Dollar Shave Club and Harry's made it super easy for me to get my shaving supplies whenever I needed them, thanks to the direct-to-consumer model. But Harry's is just not a direct-to-consumer model anymore. They actually sell through Target. Procter & Gamble and Gillette are now a retailer in this area with Art of Shaving clubs. All of these changing business models and disruptions is what gets me super excited about building innovation for consumer goods. My name is Kishan Chetan. I lead product innovation for consumer goods. Sunil spoke to you about all of the solutions that we have for B2C and B2B. All of these solutions are built on our Customer 360 platform with significant innovation 3 times a year. These are some of the core innovations that we launched in 2019. So the Customer 360 Data Manager is a customer data solution to consolidate consented customer data and create a holistic customer profile that can be used for segmentation and for activation to deliver targeted, personalized marketing, service, commerce. Our Marketing Cloud is now integrated with Google Analytics 360. That delivers significantly superior reporting and end-to-end engagement. We have several innovations on our B2B and B2C commerce, including a brand new page designer that makes it super easy for business users to go and create relevant and personalized content. Voice, you've seen a lot of demos about voice. It's available throughout our platform. On top of all of this, we introduced a brand new consumer goods cloud specific for the consumer goods industry in 2019. It's generally available as of October. Now, why did we build a consumer goods cloud? You heard a lot about disruptions, changes in consumer goods, and all the trends. All of these are true. However, there's one true fact, which is retail is the dominant channel for consumer goods. It represents 95% of sales for most consumer goods companies. However, planning and executing through the retail channel has become much harder. Whole bunch of trends, changing consumer tastes, changing consumer shopping preferences, explosion in innovation in the number of products. All of this makes it really hard to plan and execute. That's why we focused on building the consumer goods cloud. So our vision for the consumer goods cloud is to deliver integrated planning and execution on one platform with embedded innovation and AI through smart selling. All of this built on the same platform so that you can do B2B and B2C on one platform. Our first area of innovation is in retail execution, and that's what we'll speak about a little bit more today. Executing through the retail channel is really hard. It's hard because every store is different, with different consumers, different demographics shopping in the store who want different products at different prices, expect different promotions. But this is not new. This is something that consumer goods companies have been tackling for a while. Most of you have a store or a perfect store team. However, with the advent of e-commerce, the expectations from shoppers are very different. People expect the right product, always available, on the shelf, at the right price. Essentially what I would do if I went online or went onto Amazon. That's what I'd get. Now, getting this all right is what we call the perfect store. So how do we do that? And we do that by essentially building out retail execution as a part of the consumer goods cloud. And we do this by solving 3 problems. The first, we do this by enabling and ensuring that the right rep goes to a right store in the right schedule at the right time and is routed there the most optimal way. Second, we ensure that the rep delivers the perfect shelf faster. They do that by executing best practice visits with the right prioritized activities. They can easily ensure that the product's on stock, as well as use Einstein vision to automatically take pictures and capture the relevant KPIs to ensure planograms and merchandising is compliant. Third, we really enable the reps to grow the business in the store by selling in and selling through promotions, taking orders right in the store, all of which with embedded intelligence and insights. And doing this all right is significantly important and is a win-win-win for consumers and for the retailers and for the consumer goods companies. In fact, some of our studies have showed that almost 50% of $200 billion that's spent in the US is on merchandising and in-store execution is spent ineffectively. Imagine if you could save a percentage of that, and imagine 1% more on-shelf availability can do for you. That's the power of retail execution. Now with that, I'd like to call Hillary to stage to actually run a demo. Hey, Hillary.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Kashan. And those were some big stats that he just said about retail execution. So good morning, everyone. My name's Hillary Engler. I lead consumer goods marketing here at Salesforce. And with me, I have the wonderful Fuller. And we are going to go through a demonstration of Consumer Goods Cloud. So today, we'll look at Gustavo. He is a district sales manager for Alpine Brands. And as a district sales manager, his #1 goal is to achieve his revenue targets. He knows to do this, he needs to execute on his promotions, and he needs to ensure that product is always stocked on shelf. So he logs into his Salesforce, and leveraging store performance data, he can easily add stores with active promotions to a regional map. And here, he can highlight these regional stores, and he can actually add them to a schedule for a local field rep. Now, when he adds these stores to the schedule, there's an optimization process that happens behind the scenes. Salesforce is optimizing for historic traffic patterns and the average length of store visit, and out comes that optimized schedule, which he can add to a local field rep's route. So he saves it for Chantel, his local field rep. We're going to now take a look at what Chantel sees from her perspective. So she logs into Salesforce, her retail execution from her mobile device, and here she has a clear list of stores that she needs to visit for the day. The first of which is the NTO Presidio store. So she taps in, and here she has a clear view of what her tasks are that she needs to complete in store. Now, we know not every store is the same. They have different needs, different locations. So these tasks can be configured based on that. She also has access to her notes and to an overview of key information she would need to service that store well. So she starts her visit. Now, she can capture information on assets in store or inventory on store, but she sees that her first mandatory check is actually a promotions check. So she taps in and she sees the holiday energy bar promotion is what she needs to look at while she's in store. And here she begins to capture data. She captures data that helps measure the performance of that promotion. She can even take a picture and upload it as a data point. Now, hopefully, this will help with the measurement, but it will also help inform overall promotion strategy going forward. Remember, Gustavo was really focused in on that. So she moves back to her task list, and now she goes on to planograms. Here, she can do something pretty cool. She can actually take a photo of a planogram and upload it. And with Einstein Vision for consumer goods, it will actually use that visual recognition to identify products and quantify them, telling her what the percentage is in terms of share of shelf. It's incredible because this is taking a manual process and turning it digital. Think about the time that saves Chantel, allowing her to spend on brand and business building activities while she's in store. So she goes back to that task list. So one thing that Chantel noticed when she was doing the promotion in the planogram check is that the mint chip Yeti bars are low, and this store needs more of them. Luckily, she can actually place an order right from her mobile device. So she goes in, she adds the mint chip Yeti bars to her cart, and she can confirm the order right there. Now, before Chantel leaves, we know that feedback is important. So she also has the option to do a survey with the store manager, leveraging Salesforce surveys right there from her mobile device as well. She ends her visit, she captures the data, and she can move on to her next store. What we've seen is how both Gustavo and Chantel are using insights and intelligence to plan and execute the perfect store. So, thank you, Fuller, and Kashan, back to you.
Thank you, Hillary, for the excellent demo. So just recap. Retail execution in Consumer Goods Cloud helps deliver growth and customer satisfaction. From a visit planning and optimization perspective, we make it super easy for customers to segment their stores, ensure that the right rep is assigned to the right store and is visiting the stores as needed. And they're routed optimally to get to the store, so they spend the bulk of the time in the store, not getting to the store. Second, we make it super easy to execute in the store with easy to create and easy to extend configurable visit templates, where you can add different type of activities, including checking the inventory on the shelf or inventory in the store. You can ensure that the planograms and the merchandising is compliant, just taking a photo and getting the relevant KPIs, whether that's share of shelf or facings automatically. Third, we really want the reps to grow the business in the store and be order makers, not just order takers. So we give them information at their fingertips to sell in and sell through promotions, take orders right in the store, capture a variety of KPIs, all of which they can understand how perfect of a store it actually is, and with intelligence and insights embedded through the product. Everything that you saw about Consumer Goods Cloud is actually built on our Customer 360 platform. It's the same Customer 360 platform that consumer goods companies have been using for over 20 years to transform their sales, service, among others. It's built where all of the different users who are in customer engagement, whether that's a sales rep or a service manager or a sales manager, all get one view of the customer with data from Salesforce and data from outside of Salesforce integrated through our integration cloud. So in summary, Consumer Goods Cloud strengthens your value chain. It's an out-of-the-box solution to lower your time to market to transform your B2B. Intelligence and insights embedded throughout the process and built on one platform for transforming your B2B2C. With that, our next speaker is Niracha. If I get the slide. And I'm not even going to try to pronounce her last name. Niracha leads all of our industry go-to-market, and I'd like to welcome Niracha onto stage. Thank you, Niracha.
Thank you, Kishan. All right, so what we've shared with you this morning is a little bit about consumer goods trends and product innovation. But what we all love most about our jobs is seeing how real-world customers use those products to grow their businesses. So my name is Niracha. In case you're wondering, it's Techakunavud. It just flows. It's from Thailand. I've been at Salesforce for 10 years, and this is my 12th Dreamforce. It's actually quite amazing, but the consistent thing across all those Dreamforces, across all the different roles I've had here at Salesforce, is the customer interaction. And working with you, our Trailblazers, is just the hidden delight in all our jobs. So I'm thrilled to be able to lead the Trailblazer section of this keynote. We're going to talk about two amazing Trailblazers in consumer goods today. And both these companies have been able to really navigate disruption by serving both their customers and their consumers with value, with agility and relevance. And we have the two Trailblazers up here. We're going to start with Frito-Lay. Frito-Lay is a part of the PepsiCo family. We all know PepsiCo. Global brand, over 200 countries, $22 billion brands that are very familiar to all of us. I have an incredible weakness for Cheetos. There were some Cheetos backstage in the green room, and I do have to say I just had Cheetos for breakfast. The OG Cheetos, none of this, newfangled red hot stuff, flaming hot stuff, right? So I'm a big fan of Cheetos. My kids love Doritos. You may be Ruffles, different brands. But what you may not be as familiar with are these small, fast-growing, innovative brands that Frito-Lay has that really capture consumer trends. Things like the wellness world, where everyone wants options better for you. And the brands would be like Bear Chips that we focus on there, Bear Snacks, and Smart Foods popcorn. So what Frito-Lay has done is really brought agility into their distribution channel to be able to deliver growth for these wonderful brands. Now, you would have seen a Customer 360 slide in almost every single session you've been to since you've been here this week. For Frito-Lay, we are thrilled that Salesforce is supporting them across the value chain, from retail execution to commerce on the B2B side, and marketing and service on the B2C side. And that entire value chain is something that Sunil talked about, and we carry that through in everything we do in the consumer goods space. So with that, let's go to another demo, and I'd like to invite Hillary back up to the stage to really show you how Frito-Lay has gone beyond direct store distribution with a program called Snacks to You. Hillary.
Awesome. Thank you, Niracha. And you guys thought you were done with me, but I'm back. But this time, Fuller and I are actually going to walk through a demo that showcases how Frito-Lay is rounding out their go-to-market strategy with Snacks to You, which is powered by Salesforce. So now we're going to take Lori. Lori owns a small sandwich shop right here in San Francisco. And a Frito-Lay field rep actually popped in on one of his routes, on one of his visits, and told her about Snacks to You, which is a B2B commerce site where she can order products and have them directly shipped to her store. So she heads to the Snacks to You site to check it out. And here she starts to sign up for an account. So she starts to input her information, and all of this rich data is captured by Salesforce. Now, what's worth noting here is this is pretty consumer friendly. She could be signing up for a Netflix account. She finishes inputting her information, and she actually uses those new credentials to log in and start shopping. So here, she's going to get product recommendations from Frito-Lay. Now, these banners will be tailored over time based on her exploration and purchasing behaviors. She has access to insights, where Frito-Lay will help guide her through product and quantity recommendations. And she has access to resources, where she can see common FAQ and also engage with branded content. Lori's excited. She's ready to shop. So here, she can actually filter by category or by brand, or she can simply scroll and be inspired by the breadth of products and brands that Frito-Lay has to offer. I just want to revisit again, this is very consumer friendly. Remember that convergence that Sunil talked about earlier about the B2B and B2C? So Lori, because she's a shop owner in San Francisco, she's into these better for you products. So she actually clicks into Bear Snacks, and here she can see that all of the nutrition information, pricing, size information is there ready at her fingertips. She decides she wants these for her customers, so she adds 50 to her cart. And when she goes and she looks at her cart, she's going to get smart recommendations about other products that she should consider stocking. So she knows that she should have options for her customers. So she actually adds that Smart 50 sea salt popcorn, a new innovation, to her cart as well. She's happy with her order, and she's ready to check out. So here, Lori has the convenience of B2C, but she also has the flexibility that she needs as a B2B buyer. She can pick certain shipping dates and locations. As she moves through the checkout process, she can use different payment types. She finishes her order, she gets the confirmation, and the cool thing is that the insights don't stop there. Frito-Lay actually gives her a snack score, telling her how well her order matches the taste preferences and demand in the area in which she's located. Gone are the days of clunky B2B commerce. And what you've seen is how Frito-Lay is rounding out their distribution strategy and making sure that they are selling to customers of all sizes, powered by Salesforce. So thanks again, Fuller, and Naracha, back to you.
All right, thank you, Hillary. Thank you, Chris. Now, what you saw was how Frito-Lay is really bringing the concept of a tailored digital community, smart buying experience, and flexible checkout to a brand. And if you looked at that demo, that is just like a consumer buying experience. So a small business owner like Lori finds it incredibly easy to navigate. Now, we're going to get to the good stuff. I'd like to invite Michael Lindsay of Frito-Lay on stage. Michael is the Senior Vice President and Chief Transformation Officer.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today. The Trailblazer stories are really what we're all about. So please introduce yourself, a little bit about you and your role.
So first of all, thank you for eating the Cheetos. Cheetos for breakfast is not as uncommon as you might expect.
Yes.
We make a lot of delicious products that people eat throughout the day. So my name is Michael Lindsay. I lead the digital transformation for Frito-Lay. So I've been with PepsiCo for about 10 years, working in a variety of roles around the globe, from China to Dubai to New York, and now leading in Dallas the Frito-Lay transformation from end to end. So not just the B2B e-commerce that you showed, but how we think about restructuring our frontline sales force, how we think about threading that back through the supply chain, and then trying to connect the entire system end to end with the right data to inform and create a full digital transformation.
That's great. Now, what we see in consumer goods is obviously the necessity to serve a couple of audiences. So tell us what you've seen about the changes in consumer expectations.
As mentioned earlier, the consumer expectations are just exploding in complexity, right? So when you think about in the snacking world, it used to be the case that we'd have 5 or 6 of our classic billion-dollar brands, and that would be 90-ish% of the consumption. You'd have your Lay's, Ruffles, Cheetos, Fritos, Doritos, the ones that everybody knows and loves. Now, and they'd be in a relatively small number of flavors, right? You mentioned the classic orange Cheetos, but now, as you mentioned, Flaming Hot. We have organic Cheetos. We have white cheddar Cheetos. We have white cheddar puff Cheetos. We have white cheddar crunchy Cheetos.
Wow.
There's a whole
new universe.
It's a whole new universe that doesn't get to. Now we have banana chips. We have apple chips. We have seaweed flavored snacks, right? The world is exploding around us in terms of what consumers want as we get more cross-cultural pollination, as you get to a majority-minority world, and that variety introduces just an immense amount of complexity into our system. Because one of the things that's unique about Frito-Lay that people may not know, besides the breadth of our portfolio, is how big of an end-to-end system we actually run. So Frito-Lay is actually, along with our partners in PepsiCo at Beverages, we run the largest fleet in North America. So we run more trucks in a larger fleet than UPS, than FedEx. And the reason we do that is because we control the entire process at Frito-Lay, from the seed that's used for the potato to where it's manufactured, to the distribution systems, to the trucks that deliver to the store, all the way to the person who puts the product on the shelf. So when you go into one of our favorite customers on a Saturday and you see somebody working the shelf, that's a Frito-Lay employee who's making that shelf look perfect for us. So that system is an inherently large and complex system. So as you get this variety explosion that we just finished talking about, it's a lot more products, it's a lot more complexity that then our system has to work our way through. And that's where all the data and the transformation comes in.
Well, that's great. I mean, you talked about that perfect shelf. Retail is still the dominant channel for consumer goods, and it's obviously, a couple of steps removed. How do you bring innovation to that channel?
Retail is absolutely still the dominant channel, but even within retail, the way that our customers, our large retail customers, are thinking about it has become omni-channel. So it's not that the store will go away, but the way that customers, their shoppers, interact with the store is shifting over time as well, where people are pursuing new models, whether it's click and collect models, whether it's order and have it delivered from the store to their home. And we have to be able to both supply that from a product supply standpoint and keep it always in stock, always on the shelf with perfect availability. We have to continue to invest and help our retailer customers understand their shoppers and their consumers in depth in a way that perhaps they can't within our specific category. We are the snack experts. We invest a lot of money and information into understanding what consumers in a particular area and geography want to buy. You saw the result of that in that snack score.
That's great.
That's what drives that, is that we know within a particular geography who the shoppers are, who the consumers, what do they want to buy, what flavors resonate, what profiles, and we can bring that to our retail customers and help them then make a better assortment decisions for their own stores.
Well, you've made a tremendous amount of progress, and I'm grateful to find Cheetos on the shelf whenever I need them.
We're grateful when you buy them, so thank you.
So, many in the audience are at different stages of their digital transformation journey. Any tips or best practices you have for folks out there?
I think there's 2 that have been driven our success. One is it's a fundamental cultural idea to embrace complexity. That's one of the challenges, one of the mantras that we've been using internally, because as the world gets more complex, it's natural to then try to work your way through it, manage through the complexity, trim out the long tail of SKUs. But if you want to capture every last moment of growth, every potential consumer or shopper out there, you have to just embrace that complexity, accept that the world is going to have a lot more products, a lot more channels, and you have to find a way to use technology and data to manage that and manage that effectively to delight your consumers and your shoppers. And the second one is it really has to be end-to-end. What we've found in our progress is it's one thing to have a marketing solution separately from a go-to-market solution, from a supply chain solution, from a finance and even HR solution. If you don't get all that data connected together and have a single end-to-end thread for your digital transformation, you're fundamentally going to sub-optimize the entire whole. And that's what all of our work has been, to try to connect all of that data, get all the different clouds talking to each other effectively, so that we end up with a single view of a customer and then thread that all the way back to the farm that makes the potatoes that end up on people's shelves in a delicious bag of Lay's.
Well, we share that view, and what I love about this industry is that sustainability focus that Sunil talked about earlier. And PepsiCo just recently named a new chief sustainability officer who was the chief commercial officer before, so with P&L responsibility, which shows an incredible commitment to sustainability right at the very top. So tell us a little bit about what Frito-Lay is doing with the UN Sustainable Development Goals.
Sure. So Simon Loudon, and the individual that you mentioned, is one. I've known him for a very long time. He's one of our very top executives and top operators, and putting him in that role, I think, is a signal for how seriously we take sustainability. We, across the world, PepsiCo services about 1 billion consuming occasions per day. So about 1 billion times per day, somebody is eating or drinking one of our products. We have an agricultural system that touches 60 countries across the world. So we recognize that we're a big part of the overall food and beverage ecosystem, and then we have to do our part to make sure that we can drive sustainability on water, on agriculture, on plastics, et cetera. So our new CEO and chairman, Ramon Laguerta, who came in, developed this mantra on winning with purpose, which is that we're going to win, but we're going to embed purpose in everything we do, all the way down to the way the brand is executed on the shelf, to make sure that the packaging, the way that we advertise, the way that we market, the way that we develop our products has purpose and sustainability threaded throughout. So we've published a whole series of sustainability goals. I would encourage everyone in the audience to go to PepsiCo.com. We're very public on where we stand today, where we're going to be in the near future, and then what we're going to do to get there.
All right, love that, love that. Thank you so much, Michael. Really appreciate the time. Going to be looking for organic Cheetos this weekend. Thank you very much for joining us. All right, so we're going to talk about our next trailblazer, a global cosmetics company named Shiseido. And when I was telling people about this keynote, I talked to many people, mostly of the male persuasion, who were not aware of what Shiseido is. But you would have heard of some of the brands in the Shiseido family. Laura Mercier, Bare Minerals, and NARS, my personal favorite. In fact, I have to admit that, I probably got like 4 or 5 Shiseido products on me from this morning. Now, for those of you who may not have quite as involved a beauty routine, we do have a short film to introduce Shiseido to you, so you get a sense of the company before we go deeper. So if you can roll the film, please. Right, so from that film, not only will you get a sense of the immense scale of what Shiseido is doing, but also that their customer base is really beautiful. So Shiseido is committed to engaging with their customers at every step of the journey. And this 360 shows you how Shiseido is using Salesforce for marketing, commerce, and service to engage their consumer and to turn them into brand advocates, loyalists. I talked about the NARS program a little bit earlier, or the NARS brand, rather, one of my favorites. But they have a great term. It's called narcissist. That's for someone who is immensely committed to the NARS brand. So what we want to do is show you how Shiseido takes a regular, ordinary consumer who's browsing around and turns them into a narcissist. So with that, I would like to invite Jana on stage, who's going to give you a demo of that journey.
Hi, I'm Jana Hale, a lead solution engineer with Salesforce, and with me I have Archit Budharaja, who's also a senior solution engineer in the consumer goods space. And today we're going to show you a demo of how NARS is connecting the consumer journey. So Rachel is a 25-year-old female living in San Francisco, and she was recently at her local Sephora, and she stumbled upon the brand NARS. So once she was in the store, she decided to go back online and take a closer look at all of the products. So once on the site, she's able to opt in to NARS communication. And then from there, she can even navigate through the page. She sees the new innovations. She can also see product information, as well as all of the Narcissist content. So as she clicks in, she views the Narcissist content, and behind all of these inspiring images are products. So Rachel needs a new look for her holiday party coming up. So she clicks in, and she can see this amazing, inspiring product. She actually is looking for lip gloss, though. So she navigates over to the product page for lips, and here she can actually filter to find exactly what she needs. She also can click in to chat with an agent if she has any questions. So she's really excited about lip gloss, but ultimately I think she's really more interested in blush today. So she navigates over to the blush section, and here she can scroll through to kind of find what she's looking for. She stumbles upon the Outlaw Blush. And as she clicks in, she gets a highlight of this product immediately. But when she scrolls down the page, she actually can start to see rich, detailed information about the Outlaw Blush. She starts to see user-generated content about this product, as well as reviews, which are extremely important in the beauty industry, especially as you think about the e-commerce space and what that means to the purchasing path. So Rachel's excited. She has all the information she needs in order to make a decision. So she goes to her cart, and here she has the option to either add this to her wish list to revisit in the future, or she can add it to her bag. So she adds it to her bag. But like so many millennials, Rachel gets distracted. And I know for me, I always have work meetings. So she gets distracted by a work meeting and abandons her cart. Now, let's take a look at what happens to Rachel next in this experience. We saw that she opted into NARS communication online. And once she went to the website, she abandoned her cart. So Salesforce as Marketing Cloud is empowering that abandoned cart journey behind the scenes. Let's take a look at a Marketing Cloud journey. This is a Marketing Cloud, a journey inside of Marketing Cloud. And NARS is leveraging Marketing Cloud based on customer preferences and behaviors to personalize the NARS experience for narcissists. So we saw with the combined power of commerce and marketing, NARS has enabled this personalized experience for Rachel. So Rachel is now on this abandoned cart journey with NARS, and she receives an email. She clicks into it on her mobile device, and she's reminded that she loved that Outlaw Blush. But before she checks out, she's presented with some samples. This is to familiarize her with other brands within the NARS category. And here, she also, as she scrolls down before she checks out, she recognizes that she can also contact service from many different locations. So she has her samples, she also has her product, and she clicks in to complete her order. So she also is reminded that maybe she really should have ordered that lip gloss a couple hours later. So she goes back onto the site, and she logs in and decides to chat with an agent to ask if she's able to add that lip gloss to her order, as well as update her shipping address. So she's immediately connected with Johnny, a customer service agent at NARS. Here, she's able to ask Johnny to add that lip gloss to her order, as well as update her shipping address. So let's take a look at what that looks like for Johnny on his end. So inside Salesforce Service Cloud, Johnny has a 360-degree view of Rachel. Here he has access to her loyalty status, lifetime engagement score, as well as her brand engagement score by category. He has access to her past purchase history, as well as Einstein recommended products. So Johnny can add that product to her cart, as well as update her shipping address right from a single location. This is amazing, because most of the time, this would be multiple screens that Johnny would have to go to. So here, he can actually verify this information and hit submit. Then, he's also provided with recommended responses to drive efficiency and reduce the handle time. So Johnny has been able to service Rachel from a single desktop, all within a single location, and Rachel has been able to complete all of this without even having to call in. It's pretty incredible. So Rachel has also opted into other types of communication, such as SMS. So 2 months later, Rachel receives an SMS notification with a reminder to reorder and a link to the cart. When she clicks in, she goes ahead and views her cart. And all of this journey is behind the scenes is empowered by the Salesforce Marketing Cloud with an engagement touch point for reorder. So what you've been able to see is this omni-channel white glove experience that NARS is providing their customers. All of this is powered by the Salesforce Customer 360 across commerce, marketing, and service. So we've been able to see this amazing experience. Let's bring Naracha back to learn a little bit more about the NARS experience. Thank you, Archit.
All right. Thank you, Jana. Thank you, Archit. What I love most about that demo was not only the amazing amount of user-generated content, but also the idea that the service center can be a revenue generator and continue to cement customer loyalty. So with that, again, let's get to the good stuff. Let me invite Angelica Munson on stage. Angelica is the president, the Global Digital Center of Excellence across all the Shiseido brands. Thank you for joining us this morning.
It's great to be here. Thanks so much, Naracha. I want to thank you and Salesforce for inviting the entire Shiseido Global organization here to speak about our journey.
No, we love this. So tell us a little bit about you and your role.
So my role is I get the pleasure to work with so many brands that you saw in that video. You know, Shiseido has 40 brands. We sell in over 120 countries. And our prestige brand portfolio includes NARS, Laura Mercier, Shiseido. We have fragrance brands like Dolce & Gabbana and Tory Burch, as well as other skincare brands like Clé de Peau and also the newly acquired Drunk Elephant. And I just want to note, we did actually 2 weeks ago. But Shiseido actually has a wonderful men's line for the men in the audience as well. So in my role, you know, our team is a global team, so we work with our regional stakeholders and all of our global brand presidents to drive their digital commerce and their CRM and data initiatives forward. So Shiseido, for those that don't know, it's a 148-year-old brand, and they've always been really driving innovation, first through products and research and development, but in this new era through digital touch points and also marketing.
Great. Well, thank you. Well, tell us how you take a strategic approach to this consumer journey that we've seen on screen.
I think a lot of things that Sunil spoke about and you spoke about, it's about being consumer-oriented in everything we do. That's one of our Vision 2020 goals. But how can you be consumer-oriented in what you do if you don't know her, if you don't listen and understand her, then to create experiences like frictionless commerce and personalized messaging. So our strategic imperative has always been put the customer first, and then make sure that we understand each and every brand DNA, because NARS is very different than Bare Minerals, than Shiseido. And then it's working with our regional teams to localize that experience and make sure they use Salesforce Cloud as that base, but then can regionalize and localize accordingly. Because payment methods are different, different ways people like to be communicated to is not always email. Sometimes it's through WeChat or SMS.
That's great. I mean, we certainly saw the scale from that film. So, we've worked together for many years. It's always a pleasure. Tell us a little bit about how you leverage Salesforce. Why did you pick Salesforce in the first place?
It's interesting because a lot of the team is here, and I think we were here 3 years ago, and through those months, through those years, we really accelerated very quickly. When I joined the company, it was a very fragmented e-commerce ecosystem. We had about 20 sites, but all slightly on different platforms, so we could never get a view of the consumer. And again, if you don't understand her, you can't react. So through that, our first stage was getting Commerce Cloud really onboarded, and now we've deployed over 70 sites. And really that has doubled, in the last year and a half, year. And then we started using Salesforce Marketing Cloud to really market personalized messages, and we have about 1 billion messages that are going out there. And that impact has been very significant. And then lastly, we just launched Service Cloud, actually, in the Americas and EMEA. And really what you saw is that vision of NARS really integrating those clouds together. So we needed something that could be global, but could be regionalized and really could work with partner ecosystems in different markets.
So love that. So you've done all that. What's next?
Well, I think it's really leveraging, I think, Frito-Lay had mentioned that as well. How do you leverage the clouds that you have and maximize that to the potential? And then how can you use data? And, for a company like Shiseido, being custodians and respectful of this data to drive more personalized experiences. And also Einstein. I don't think we've only touched the tip of the iceberg when it comes to AI and Einstein for that next gen relationship. And then I would also say, lastly, I think it's about people. You can have the best technology, and you can say you're a people-first organization, but if you don't educate them, and you don't do proper change management, and really work with all of your teams very closely, that technology is not going to be successful. So I think that's really a people-first mandate.
Wonderful. Well, as always, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Always a pleasure. Thanks, Angelica. Okay, so you heard from two trailblazers who really are delivering agility and relevance across the value chain. So without further ado, to take us home, Sunil's going to come back up. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Naracha. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Angelica. Naracha fully cracked open a bag of Cheetos in the back, and I've been scarfing them down for the past 5 minutes. It's been great. All right, so what did we just see? We saw a quick overview of the industry, what's happening, what's relevant, this entire concept of relevance and agility. We then had a brief overview of all the innovations that are coming out, specifically focused on also consumer goods cloud and how we're looking at building out capabilities relevant for consumer goods. We heard from our customer Trailblazers, Shiseido, and Frito-Lay, and, of course, we saw some really cool demos. Thank you, folks. So, all of this, as you've seen many times this week, and you will continue to see today, is predicated on the Salesforce Customer 360 platform. We're really putting the thought into how we created these integrated experiences across the consumer, but also this integrated route to market that we spoke about earlier today. And, of course, this is all based on the trusted, smart, flexible, and sustainable platform which we bake the B2C and B2B experiences on. So, finally, what I'd like to say is we have the campground and lodge experiences where you can continue to see a lot of the demos we saw today and some more capabilities. And our SC teams will be glad to walk you through those. Of course, we have a lot more sessions remaining for today that you can go and attend. President Obama's keynote is happening right after this. And the journey continues on Trailhead. So if you haven't used it yet, please sign up and you can continue some of the learning leveraging our trails on Trailhead. So with that, thank you very much for joining us here today and attending the Consumer Goods keynote. Have a good Dreamforce.